Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. And this is all about rent to rent. This training session is all about rent to rent, guys. And I'm going to show you the secrets behind how I managed to grow a property business, a property rental income, making more than £18,000 per month. That's right, guys, you heard it here. £18,000 a month. And I'm going to show you in the next 40 minutes exactly how you could do the same. Okay, so here's what we're going to learn. I'm going to teach you why you don't need to reinvent the wheel, how everything is already done for you. All you've got to do is follow a step-by-step strategy. That strategy is what I like to call the rent to rent strategy that could change your financial life forever. I'm going to show you how to structure the deal. Okay, I'm going to go through and show you why you don't need to a purchase deposit. You don't need to have a mortgage. Look, guys, if you're out there right now, and I understand the property market is very expensive right now. Okay, lots of people are struggling to get onto the property ladder. I'm going to show you in this strategy how you don't need to worry about raising £100,000 as a deposit. You don't need to worry about having to go and get a mortgage. You don't need to worry about a refurbishment, saving up money so you can invest in an old property and have money to refurb it. You don't need any of that, guys. Okay, this strategy is literally open for everybody, no matter where you are right now in your life. I'm also going to show you how to avoid the 3 common pitfalls that affect most first time people that try to get into the rent to rent market. And you've got to be aware of these pitfalls, guys, because these will stop you from growing an income before you've even started. It will wipe you out and take you out of the game. And I'm also going to show you in this next 40-minute training how within the next 30 days you can be successful in the rent to rent strategy and follow a step-by-step process that could end up getting you your first property in 30 days or less. Okay, guys, so let's dive into it. I've got loads of fantastic information that I want to share with you. Now, here's the thing. Many people think that it's expensive to get started in property. And you know what? They would be right in thinking that if they were just focusing on the old way of doing property. Like when I bought my first property over 18 years ago, doing things the old way, it was quite expensive and quite slow. I had to raise a deposit. The key is in this strategy, guys, you don't need to raise a deposit. You don't need a mortgage, like I've already told you. House prices have increased since 2016, 2017, nearly 5%. The average property price in the UK now is over £220,000, guys. The average London property is approaching £500,000. It's at £481,000. Now, if you was going to save and purchase one of these properties, you would probably need a minimum 20% deposit. So in some cases, that's saving nearly £80,000. So you would be right in thinking the property market is expensive if you was going to do things the old way. But in this training, I'm going to be teaching you some new strategies, guys. I'm going to be teaching you the new way of how you can change your financial future and start an income in property immediately. Right now, there is a huge number of what I like to call accidental landlords. And what I mean by this is, these are accidental landlords. They may have split from their partners, or maybe they've been with a long-term partner over a long-term period of time, and that leaves a property. They never wanted to be landlords. They don't want to rent it out. They don't want the hassle of having to look after that property. So for this reason, the markets at the moment are very difficult. It's a very difficult time at the moment to sell your property. You would have been seeing a lot of news on the news at the moment. So most people are having to opt to rent out a property, whether they want to be landlords or not. Properties are sitting around on the market now for sale 6, 9, 12 months. And the great thing is there are thousands of properties like this in every city across the UK. So no matter where you are right now listening to this, I can guarantee there are thousands of properties that basically have landlords and people who own those properties who do not want to, they don't want to rent out their property. They don't want that responsibility. And that is where you guys are going to give them the solution. All right. And the solution is the rent to rent strategy. And the beauty about the rent-to-rent strategy is it creates a win-win scenario where you get to prosper from making a profit on a monthly basis, and the landlord, the current owner of the property, they win by getting a fantastic tenant, a long-term tenant, and someone that they can trust in order to look after their property and look after their asset for the future. What is rent-to-rent? Well, we rent a property from a landlord as a whole, and then we rent out that property in individual rooms. The beauty about this is no purchase deposit is required, no refurbishment investment is required, you don't own the property, so you don't need a purchase deposit. It doesn't matter where you are starting right now, you may have bad credit, this does not come into effect. You may be employed or you may not be employed. This does not come into effect. Albeit, it's going to be easier to get started if you're currently employed and you currently have good credit. Okay, like most things, yes, that's going to make life a little bit easier. But if that isn't the case, it doesn't matter. There are ways of doing this strategy where you can overcome those challenges. Now, the benefit of this property strategy, a typical net monthly profit when doing this rent-to-rent strategy correct is anywhere between £800 and £1,200 per month, and that's if you choose to do a smaller type property. Okay, and when I talk about smaller type, normally between 4 to 5 bedroom property would net you between £800 to £1,200 a month. Now, if you wish to go bigger, some experienced investors, especially some of my colleagues that I know, they wouldn't dream on doing this, taking on a property, unless they were making anywhere upwards of £2,000 per month. Okay, guys, that's right, £2,000 a month profit. So my question to you is, how many properties would it take to replace your income? All right, with that type of property, with that type of net profit coming in on a monthly basis, how many properties would it take to replace your income? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab a pen and paper if you don't have one in front of you. I want you to work out your net monthly income currently. So whether that's £1,500 a month, £2,000 a month, £3,000 a month, £10,000 a month, whatever it is, I want you to write down how many properties it would take with an income of, let's say, £1,000 a month, anywhere between £800 to £1,200 a month. How many properties would it take to replace your current income? All right, guys, very important. I want you to do that now. Okay, so you're probably thinking, who am I? Well, my name's Carl Hutchings. I played professional football for over 13 years. I grew a property portfolio worth millions and millions of pounds during that time. And then something amazing happened. I managed to lose, or I shouldn't probably say lose, I managed to spend all of my money on a bad investment that I'd done. I bought a couple of nightclubs and a couple of restaurants and bars, and basically managed to, managed to spend 13 years of growing my wealth and growing my assets. I managed to get rid of them all within a 2.5 year period. That's right, guys. I grew up in a place called West Ken Estate, all right, in Fulham, and that's where I learned to kick the ball. You can see here on the slide on my picture. I grew up in this estate, and I used to just get the football and used to kick it against the wall, and I worked and I trained really, really hard as a 10-year-old kid. So hard that I got spotted. I ended up going to Chelsea and being at Chelsea for nearly 5 years as a young teenager, and then I moved across. I got told at 15 years old that Chelsea didn't think I was good enough at that moment in time, and like anything, you get your dream crushed and broken. But it was, thank God, at that time a mentor came into my life, and it was the first time that I really had someone kind of guiding me and looking over and advising me on different things that I should be looking at doing. And He helped me go to Brentford, where I ended up signing and staying at Brentford for over 7 years. And he also helped me to get started in property and to really start thinking about investments and how, you can really change your life through investing and doing the right things. And it was at this time I started growing my property portfolio and finding people to rent out my property portfolio. And if we jump forward 13 years, I'd grown a property portfolio worth millions, and I was earning enough money on a monthly basis that I was able to retire at the age of 30 from playing football and just basically go into property full time. And what I also done, I started up a couple of other businesses, like I said earlier, a couple of nightclubs, restaurants, okay? And this was the part of the business that I didn't understand. And just like anything, we've all been in places, we've all done jobs where if we don't train at something and if we don't get educated around that area of our life, what tends to happen is we probably don't do it that well. And that's what happened to me in this moment in my business career. For a 3-year period, basically, I didn't educate myself. I didn't get a mentor. I didn't really understand what I was doing in the restaurant and the entertainment area of business. And I managed to lose 13 years of building up wealth. I managed to lose that all within 3 years. So the question is then, how did I manage to come back from owing hundreds of thousands of pounds, losing a property portfolio worth millions? How did I manage to then build a property business back within 3 years to the extent of what it had taken me 13 years as a professional football player? Well, the way I was able to do that was I had to go out and I had to learn some new strategies. And the strategy that I learned was the rent-to-rent strategy. And that managed to start giving me a cash flow on a monthly basis, where then I could start to grow the other side of my business and start to rebuild back my property portfolio. But the rent-to-rent business gave me a cash flow on a monthly basis that started taking care of my bills, started allowing me to pay for things again, and started giving me time and space, which I think everybody needs, okay? A little bit of time and space on a monthly basis to know that your bills are covered and things are covered, so then you can then start to grow other areas of your business. And today, I'm pleased to say, I run a multi-million pound property business. I've got 2 lovely children. Myself and my wife and my family go traveling all around the world. And it's just, I tell you this not to boast, but just to show you what, you guys can achieve out there, no matter where you are right now. So if I can do it, you guys can do it as well. And the great thing is, I now teach these methods to others. And it didn't just work for me. This works for anybody who's willing to give it the effort, the time, and the commitment to get out there, work the strategy, learn what you need to learn, follow the step-by-step strategy, and give 100%. And here you can see this is Ross. Ross managed his first deal inside 7 weeks. Within 7 weeks, he brought on his first rent-to-rent deal. And 12 months later, his business is now turning over £400,000 a year. And Ross is making over £100,000 a year in net profit. That's within 12 months of meeting me, starting these strategies, carrying out these strategies, and really just working hard at what he does. So Ross just came, we met, he attended my training with an open mind, a positive attitude, just like you guys are listening to this right now. He created a step-by-step plan of action. He went away, he took that action, and within 7 weeks, he was able to pick up his keys to his first rent-to-rent deal. That one deal was worth to him over £30,000 in the lifetime of that contract. How amazing is that? Imagine if that was you 12 months from now. If you just carried out 1, 2, 3 deals, how much would that be worth to you? Now, this is Sylvian. Sylvian, Sylvian is a fantastic guy. He's from France. English is his second language. Just to show you that anyone can do this, okay? Sylvian had problems speaking English when he first came, when I first met Sylvian, and he managed to work on his English so much. He took on he loved the rent-to-rent strategy. He took it on. He now works in Clapham. It took Sylvian a little bit longer to get his first deal in his rent-to-rent company because he had to work on his English and work on how he was going to present his company to estate agents and to letting agents and to landlords. But after 6 months of not giving up, Sylvian brought on his first property that was worth to his business over £25,000 in the lifetime of that contract. And within 2 weeks after that, he managed to bring on his second property. And that is what normally happens, guys. That's normally the pattern. Sometimes it might take you 7 weeks, 30 days, 2 months, depending on how much time you're putting in. Sylvian has a full-time job. He puts in a couple of hours a week into his business. These are some of the other guys that I've been training over the last 6 months. In this photo here, I'm here with the head of the PFA, the Professional Footballers Association, and currently putting together a program where we're going in and helping professional football players, teaching them the different strategies and the rent-to-rent strategy and some of the other property strategies. Within this training, you're going to be hearing stuff that I'm out there teaching guys just like yourself. The simple rent-to-rent strategy that takes 30 days or less to get started. Let's get right down into it. Step 1, research the property and the prices. Here's the first thing that we have to do. We have to check out the property prices in our area. Now, when I say the property prices, I'm talking about the rental market. How much does a 3-bedroom house in your area cost to rent from a letting agent or a landlord? Then after that, we want to check out the prices of the rooms. So how much can you let out a room in your area for? All right, very, very important. Now, there's certain websites that we can go on and we can find all this information out very, very quickly. Now, areas which are ideal are areas that are close to city centres or main bus routes and tube routes. Areas where young professionals want to commute from. So normally you'll find a lot of these properties or good properties in areas which are close to local shopping places, local restaurants, bars, cinemas, little hubs maybe on the outskirts of cities where travel time is normally within half an hour, 45 minutes. They can be direct into their local town or city centre. So that's step 1. Step 2, we got to be able to find a landlord with a suitable property. Now, here's the thing. What is a suitable property? Suitable properties are those with multiple reception rooms that can be turned into additional bedrooms. So, for instance, if you've got a 3-bedroom house that has maybe 2 living rooms or has maybe a double living room, which you can potentially turn them into 2 bedrooms downstairs, then all of a sudden, for the price of a 3-bedroom house that you'd rent as a whole, you now have 5 bedrooms that you can rent out individually. An ideal property is a kitchen area that is a little bit bigger, that you can put down, you can get in there a dining table or maybe a sofa. Now, this isn't the be all and end all, but it just makes for a better property. To begin with, you need to understand the type of landlord that you're dealing with. Now, the landlord will always have questions. Why would a landlord be open to doing this strategy? Why aren't they doing it themselves? And why do they need you? If you can answer these 3 critical questions, You will find a landlord and a landlord that will want to work with you, and a property that will be suitable, okay, for you to be able to invest in. Okay, guys, why would a landlord want to do this with you? Why are they not doing it themselves? And why do they need you? Step 3, you got to know how to negotiate the deal. We got to ensure that the landlord is aware of what you intend to do. You never, ever, ever ring or email or try to negotiate by email or text with a landlord. You never do that. You got to meet the landlord. You got to build a relationship with the landlord. It's key. Property is a relationship business, all right? You got to take time, and you got to go. You got to meet the landlord. You got to do viewings, meet the letting agents, okay, whoever you're dealing with, and start to build a relationship with them. Now, we're going to explain the advantages of why they should be working with you. Some of these advantages, just some of them, is that you'll be able to offer the landlord a long-term rent. That long-term rent is anywhere up to 5 years. Imagine if you're a landlord and you're an accidental landlord, so you don't even want the property really yourself, okay? You're scared of having voids. Maybe you've got your own mortgage that you've got to pay for as well, and you say to the landlord, look, you know, I'll take this property off of you, and I'll guarantee your rent for the next 5 years. You will not miss a single, or you will not have a single void period for the next 5 years. How good does that sound? Now, they're also going to be just dealing with one person, so the landlord isn't going to have to deal with 5 different tenants and people coming and going all the time. That's going to be your job. But that's why you're going to be making £1,000 a month per property. So the landlord is just going to get to deal with just one person. And also, you're going to take care of all the basic maintenance problems that may happen, like a leaky tap, someone locked out, broken window, etc. You're going to take care of that. Now, you know, look, you've got some busy people out there who, if they're an accidental landlord, the last thing they want is a call in the middle of the night or a call during the middle of the day when they're at work telling them that, you know, they've got leaky taps. That's what you're going to deal with. Okay, we're going to put systems in place to be able to deal with that. But that's why we get paid an extra £1,000 to £1,500 per property per month profit. Fantastic. Now, step 4. We have to get the legal paperwork in place. So we have to make sure that the legal paperwork is all in place. And the great thing is, we can do this within 24 hours or less. I've closed, the quickest deal that I've managed to close is within 9 hours from meeting the landlord and meeting the property. I saw the property in the morning, and by that evening we had signed the contract and I'd taken over the property. That's how quick and beautiful this strategy is, guys. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to buy a property yourself, but that could take up to 3 months to get a property bought and sold and get the legal paperwork done. This strategy, 24 hours, you can have the paperwork signed and sealed. Okay, now step 5. Once you've done that and we've got the property on board, okay, next thing is we need to get the tenants in there. So we advertise for tenants, and the best place to advertise for tenants are places like sparerooms.com. You've also got places like Gumtree, and there's over 10 websites that you can advertise for tenants for free as well. OpenRent is another great website that you can advertise for tenants on as well. Now, when we found our tenant, the first thing we can do is ask them if they've got any friends that they would like to move in with. We then get a deposit off of them. Now that deposit can be anything up to 1 month's rent deposit, and obviously the first month's rent in advance. And then obviously we need to abide by all the legal obligations. So whatever contracts and stuff need to go in place, we need to put them in place. So that's step 5. At this moment in time, we now have our first property and our first tenant paying us a nice monthly amount of money for 1 room. Now, all we've got to do is make sure that we continue to advertise, fill up that room as quickly as possible, and within our first 30 days of having that property, we will be making a profit. Okay, guys? Now, this is Hema. Hema was really apprehensive on how fast she could complete her first deal, but using the systems and skills we taught her, she managed to complete her first deal with a landlord to take her over the landlord's entire rental portfolio worth over £1.5 million. And Hema signed the deal and achieved 100% occupancy for that property portfolio within 20 days from carrying out our training. Now guys, you have to be aware the 3 pitfalls that you need to look out for that can scupper and destroy your deals. The first area is the letting agents. You need to understand how to work alongside letting agents. Now 60% of letting agents don't understand this strategy. Many actually think it's illegal. You need to know exactly how to explain the legal implications to the letting agent. You need to understand how this strategy works and how you need to communicate this strategy with the letting agents. Believe me guys, when I first started this strategy, and even today when I go in and I meet new letting agents, I'm still surprised at how many letting agents do not understand or know about this strategy and really think it is illegal. And it's not. It is illegal if you don't do it in the right manner. But otherwise, you know, people are out there making thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on a monthly basis, and some letting agents aren't even aware of the strategy. The second thing that can really mess up your entire rent-to-rent business is if you don't do your numbers correctly. Now imagine if you commit to a 3-year contract with a landlord, you pay over your deposit, you sign that 3-year agreement, and then all of a sudden you realize that your numbers aren't right, and every month, instead of making £1,000 a month, you'll end up losing money. I've seen this happen to others, and okay, it's not a good thing to get yourself into. So we've got to make sure that you get your numbers right. We've got to make sure your due diligence is right, and we've got to make sure that, you know, every property that you're going to take on is a profitable property. Now, the third area that will really scupper your deal and financially have a financial implication on how you manage to work your rent-to-rent business is if you don't get help. Okay guys, like I said, I grew up playing professional football, and my whole entire football career I had a coach, I had a mentor, I had people helping me every day. The only time I've ever lost money in business is when I invested into a business and I didn't seek help, I didn't seek guidance, I didn't seek someone to point out the road, the step-by-step way that I should have been doing things. So you've got to make sure, guys, if you jump into this, make sure you've got someone to help you, to guide you and to show you the steps, because if you have, this is a very simple business that you can make a lot of money from, and you can get in there for a relatively low investment. Okay, you can get into this property strategy for a relatively low investment as long as you've got someone there showing you the steps of how to do this. So the question is, can you do this? Just one property nets on average £10,000 in profit. Okay, 2 properties could net you £20,000 per year profit. 10 properties could net you up to, or if not more than, £100,000 per year in profit. So the question is, can you do this? Well, here's how I can help you. You can go and waste hours and hours trying to figure out if the deal in front of you is a good deal, and then waste thousands of pounds on a deal that don't really work. Or you can work with someone who knows exactly which properties will rent out easily and how to ensure you make money from it. So I've set aside some time over the next few days to talk to you about exactly how this can work for you. Who is this for though, guys? Okay, because you've got to understand time is precious. You must be willing to learn and of course experiment. The rent to rent strategy is a step-by-step strategy that when you follow the procedures put in place, okay, you can achieve great success, but you must be willing to commit. You must have super commitment to get this set up fast so you can start earning money immediately. You must understand that this is not a get rich quick scheme, guys, okay? This is not something that everybody can just jump into and start getting rich tomorrow. It takes effort, it takes dedication, and it takes hard work. So please do not book a call with me if you are not willing to put this effort and this dedication into your life to change your financial future. Now, why am I doing this? On the call, I will help you plan out exactly what you need to do to get your rent to rent system in place fast. I will take you through the exact steps you need to make, where to find the landlords, how to position yourself, and how you can overcome any problems you'll experience along the way. If you want me to personally help you, and I believe I can help you, I will invite you to work alongside me to get this set up fast. Now, it's really important that you understand, if you work with me, I will expect you to take maximum action and start negotiating with suitable properties and landlords within 1 to 2 weeks. I will work alongside you to ensure that the deals work for you and that the landlords and tenants are the right people and it's a win-win scenario for all. One of the keys will be ensuring that my team and I give you all the support you need to tie all the pieces together to make sure that your business is running smoothly and efficiently. Okay guys, if this is for you and you would like the opportunity to discuss how this strategy works and how you can make it work for yourself, and any questions that you've got around how you can implement this strategy fast, now's your time to book a call. Okay, the button is there, click on the link and you'll have the opportunity to speak with myself and ask any questions around this strategy. Thank you for listening, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this training. It's been my pleasure. My name's Carl Hutchings. This is the Rent to Rent strategy and I look forward to speaking to you soon.